So I'm really pleased to see this funding. I'm really glad it's available, and I'm encouraged by your statement that you want to see a lot of involvement in coming up with the projects. So at the budget meeting in February, 66 members in favour and 0 against. We also voted some strategic SIL to be made available for parks, half of a £2 million spend over 4 years. And that support for that investment came from the whole council, as I said. And I'd like to ask, my first question is what arrangements there are for local input into them, members of the council, but of course also park groups, which was
Can we do the question, please?
Yeah. What arrangements are there from members of the council and local park groups, which was specifically written into the budget amendments? That was my first question.
Before you do answer, there's a bit of a challenge. This is a political chamber, and so we do have to talk about it. You do realise you didn't actually support the budget. We don't need to get into it now, but it's only real support if you're actually involved in the decision that allocates the money. It's not real support if you just identify the money, but then don't vote for that money to be put into the budget. And if you don't support the budget, you have not actually supported the spending that the council is going to do. And I mean, because I get you're pointing about all the support that was in the chamber, but that didn't actually happen because one of the parties didn't support the budget at all. And it's important that we do that because this is a place in which we make serious decisions in a complicated city in the face of competing demands under incredible financial pressure. And making those decisions, you can't always take the easy line of saying what you believe without actually making decisions about where the money's going to get spent and where the money's not going to get spent. As Joe Biden said, don't tell me what you believe, show me your budget. If you haven't got a budget, there's no evidence of what you believe. That's the easy route, and it's not serious political leadership in the city. But having said that, Ellie, please, would you like to respond about how people will be involved in that?
Yeah, thank you. So I question your question isn't actually about this paper. It's also about a future paper and a future piece of work. So, yeah, a question like whether it actually even meets the criteria of asking a question at Cabinet. But so I've kind of got to get this one out the door first before we talk about the procedure for the next one. There will be a process of engagement. There always is. There never has been a parks investment where we haven't expected councillors and communities and friends of groups to be involved in that. But let's get this one out the door first before we can talk about the detail of the next one.
Okay, do you have a supplementary, but please make it a question?
Yeah, I think the two funds are complementary because obviously one has to take into account the work of the other. And any suggestions that come forward for this particular piece of money.
Please, Mike, can we have a question?
Yeah, I'd like to know if you intend to keep any proposals that come for this piece of money, because there is the second capital spend coming. So they are.
Will you keep the proposals that come from this money? I think is the question.
Sorry, I don't understand. Keep what proposals?
You've asked for suggestions. They may not all be funded by this budget. There's a second budget, which is why it is relevant today. Yeah,
I mean, a lot of these parks have like huge plans for investment. Victoria Park has one that's several million, as does Oldbury Court. So this won't obviously do everything that's on the list. So it'll be about a case of like working through and seeing what will be achievable this time and what we can build on for the future. I do feel that the need to reference the motion of that we came to council last month, the golden motion as well, because we do have to sort of grapple with the complexities of the commitments that we make. So that there was a golden motion that asked us to commit to redeveloping Castle Park as soon as those plans are available. But at the same time, we had a budget amendment just 4 weeks earlier that asked us to commit money from the strategic SIL pot to spend elsewhere. And that came with a health warning from officers saying that if you take money from that pot, that money is designed to be allocated when the plans are drawn up for Castle Park. So we're asking your party is asking us to spend that money twice, and it takes a while to build up these pots. So there's a process of prioritisation that you need to go through as a party as well to decide how we're going to spend money, because it's not finite, is it? We don't have this money tree, and we know that point is made a lot, but we have to make decisions and say, what should we spend money on? Should it be a Castle Park redevelopment, or should we take it and spend it on parks elsewhere around the city? We can't do it all. So but your party has asked us to commit to both of those